Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, to the very first video of me in the new patch. And obviously I want to focus first on the new naval stuff, in particular the 3 new premium rank 5 battleships. And the first one is the SMS Nassau at battle rating 6.3. It's the Nassau class lead ship in its 1910 configuration and the sister ship to the SMS Westfalen, which we have in the game and in the tech tree since the dawn of battleships. And I like those dreadnoughts. I think they look awesome. I also like the camouflage that you get basically stock, and there are a lot of good things to talk about when it comes to this ship. And what makes and breaks the ship is the battle rating of 6.3, because the 2 other battleships, the USS Arkansas for the Americans and the Marat for the Soviets/Russians, are both at 6.7. They also have 12-inch guns rather than compared to your 12 11-inch guns, and they also have a 12-gun broadside every 30 seconds, where you have an 8-gun broadside every 20 seconds, which evens out the DPM difference gun for gun. The undeniable advantage that you have is that if you're stern in or bow in, you can bring 6 guns to bear, versus the Marat only can bring 3, and the Arkansas only 4 guns to bear. So that then is a hefty DPM difference. Also, the Nassau has an incredibly sturdy armor scheme, distributed armor scheme, further enhanced by a reasonable turtleback and also some coal bunkers, although they disappear when getting penned after the first penetration. So that's a bit of a problem. Then you have also a considerable secondary and tertiary battery, but you have no AA because you're in your pre-World War I configuration of 1910, versus the Westfalen has some AA, and the big difference to the Arkansas and its 1942 configuration and the Marat in its 1941 configuration, they have considerably better and more AA than you, because you have basically none, except if something flies low and slow and in a predictable course, as we'll see. And I'm sorry that again it didn't record any sound, so I hope that you enjoy here some old hangar music. So the opposition that I now face is indeed a Marat, and this is the main reason why I included here this clip. I also want to get closer to bring my torpedoes to try something out, because unlike the Patrizkaya Kommuna, which is the 7.0 sister ship of the Marat has no anti-torpedo defenses, or torpedo defenses, anti-torpedo system, whatever, that the Patrizkaya Kommuna has. The SMS Nassau itself doesn't have such system either, but you have 5 torpedo launchers, 15 torpedoes overall, 1 facing forward through the bow, and 2 per side facing sideways. Sadly, no torpedo launcher in the stern. However, the 450mm C-06D torpedoes are not really that face-breaking. Only 50 kilometers per hour, only 5.9 kilometers of range, and what is most critically, in especially this situation, the warhead contains only 122.6 kilograms of TNT. Okay. So now let's quickly talk about the armor. As I said before, we have a distributed armor scheme, and that means we have at the front an icebreaker exactly at the waterline of 120mm. The upper belt is 90mm, and then the main belt in the middle is 290mm, with the upper belt being 170mm and 160mm at the height of the barbette 5.9-inch or 150mm guns. Same for the stern with 120 and 90mm respectively. The barbettes are 283mm, same as the turret faces with 280mm. It all is rolled cemented armor. The deck is 45mm, the upper deck. The lower deck is 38mm thick. The deck, funnily enough, at the stern is 80 millimeters. Your turtleback is actually 58 millimeters at a considerable angle. And behind this, there are a lot of coal bunkers in front and behind the turtleback. So while they disappear after the first successful penetration, they still, you know, take a lot to actually completely disappear because they are in so many separate levels, which is good. Then we come to the ammunition for the main guns, which is most importantly. Again, we have 20-second reload. We have two ammo types. We have the SAP, die Sprenggranaten L3,6 mit Bodenzünder, and a caliber of 283 millimeter. It comes at a muzzle velocity of 855 meters per second, contains 17 kilograms of explosive mass, which is not too shabby, especially versus cruisers, because it also still has up to 359 millimeters of penetration. At 5 kilometers, it's still 248, so that's really good. And the fuse delay with 0.025 seconds and the fuse sensitivity of 15 millimeters are the same as on the 283 millimeter PSGR L-3.2, the AP or APC round, which has the same muzzle velocity and brings 8.95 kilograms of TNT explosive mass to the table, with a maximum penetration of 469 millimeters. At 5 kilometers, it's still 324, and at 1,000 and at 10 kilometers, sorry, it's 212 millimeters of penetration. So not that much more compared to the AP, to the SAP, but you know, I mostly use the AP anyway versus cruisers, which you will still face quite a lot, and yeah, versus destroyers, then you can use the SAP actually. Now here we have the main problem, and this is why I included this clip next to the hilarious one-shots and the plane kill. You see how much I pumped into this battleship, which is indeed a Marat. I have aimed for the barbettes, the turrets, the various different sections. I hit him with 2 torpedoes, although not in the perfect location. And I tried to over and over take out his barbettes, but it just doesn't die. I cannot ammo rack it. Even if I shoot this guy with a hood or a Bayern or any sort of Japanese 14-inch gun, because the ammo rack is so deep down in the ship. You just cannot physically hit it, even with extreme plunging fire, despite the belt being able to be penned, especially at this distance. So I just wanted to show you the problem that I have. And here are 2 main aspects that I want to talk about. The first one is, when battleships first came out, they were effectively unsinkable because they absorbed so much damage. And I get some of this old armor vibe here as well. And the advantage that here the Nassau has is that it has the lowest battle rating of all premium battleships so far. And so you face so many more cruisers. Since RP is not really one-to-one directly correlated to kills, but more battle time, you still can research effectively. The kills are more related to civilians, and I think in this aspect, cruisers can be more effective, although you still have a maximum modifier of 6.0 times 2.0, coming up to 1,200 percent civilians without the premium account, and have the 1800% with premium account. So the economy is fine. You get a lot of RP, you get a lot of civilians. You can, you know, get into brawls with the ships. It is fun. But then the ship is really slow with 37 kilometers per hour. It has no AA. It has no torpedo defense system at all. It has a lack of ammunition. You only have 900 rounds for 12 guns, meaning that you have 75 salvos. You have to make a choice how much ammunition of each type you really take with you. You can run out of ammo in 25 minutes. Your secondaries, I haven't talked about them yet. You have 12 150mm guns, 6 per side, and they have 3 ammo types. You have HE with 1.6 kilograms of yield, that's not a lot. Then you have the SAP round with 1.05 kilograms of TNT, that's also not that impressive, and at most 95 millimeters of penetration. However, funnily enough, the AP that has considerably more penetration with up to 238 millimeters has 990 grams, so 15 grams less than the SAP, yet significantly better penetration values. So the main choice for me personally is the AP. You also have a plethora of 88 millimeters, 16 all over the ship in the superstructure, etc. And they have a high rate of fire, but they only fire HE. It's good, as I have shown, versus planes, but it kind of lacks actual usability, and only can be fired at planes if they are flying at a shallow enough path, as this P-47 perfectly demonstrated. So here the game recorded actually my my sound, thankfully, and we are fighting an Alaska. And if this Alaska would play correctly and aim correctly, I would have no real chance. I cannot ammo-rack this guy since he just got flooded really hard and never repaired it enough. I also cannot really hit him with my torpedoes at this distance. I think also the Alaska has the anti-torpedo protection system that would nullify the damage of my torpedoes completely. According to the stat card, it actually doesn't have it, which is surprising. And yeah, this is the big problem. You can fight a lot of ships of 6.7 and 7.0 that you have absolutely no chance against. So here you can see I tried to take aim for the turret bow beds, the turret faces, and at this distance it's just good enough to actually get them. But you have to keep it up, and they still can penetrate you and then eventually get through the turtleback and the coal bunkers, etc. Or they fire at the, if you're slightly angled, at the front turret, and then still can, in theory, ammo-rack you. So here you can see I try my very best, but you know, versus other capital ships, and that's the TLDR of this video, versus other capital ships, you just don't have the necessary penetration power. You don't have the firepower, in short. And that's a bit of a problem. Versus cruisers, you're perfectly capable of killing all the premium cruisers, the tactical cruisers. You can ruin the fun for some British battle cruisers in particular. But yeah, the problem is that I expect soon the meta to change more and more into the region of a battleship premium bot fights. However, the advantage that you have here with the Nassau is that it costs only Golden Eagles less than 9,000, which is significantly less than the 70 Gaijin coin or dollar or euro price you have to pay that the USS Arkansas bundle costs or that the Marat bundle costs. Both ships are technically better when it comes to the firepower and penetration and whatnot, but they have a higher battle rating, and 6.7 is not really a nice environment for ships with 12-inch guns, especially because they will face just much more up tiers. So I expect two things. First of all, I expect the other nations to get premium battleships soon, because at the moment the British, the Japanese, the Italians and the French all do not have premium rank 5 battleships. Especially the French got shafted with the Dupleix, with the pack at 5.7, which is hilariously greedy of Gaijin in my opinion, and most unfair to the one guy playing the French Navy. I also expect soon other battleships to arrive in the game, and in the long run I expect also to have rank 6 for premium battleships with significantly better capabilities in the long run. Maybe 1 or 1.5 years from now, I don't know. It's just a wild guess. But so far, my guesses have mostly been on point, if I may say so. And I really like the style of those World War I dreadnoughts. I love the look of them. I love the 20-second reload. I love the sturdiness and also things like that happening. Just, yeah, Des Moines. Just a premium battleship's favorite food, to be honest. So there are a lot of things to discuss. It's not a clear cut. And what annoys me the most about the Marat is that per se it's not overpowered. It's just not fun to play against. I would like to have more duels with the USS Arkansas variety of ships. I think that this was a really lucky shot that I had in the previous battle. I think that I should get much more experience in the new meta. I have to adapt to the new game mechanics, see if this is intentional or a bug, whatever. And, you know, try to find back into the naval meta to give you a perfectly fair assessment of the situations. For me personally, right now, the premium battleships are not worth it. They are way too expensive. They are in a meta that is not that great. And I am a naval enthusiast. I just like long fights where you just knock it out with the enemy, where you just shoot at each other for a prolonged period of time. The problem that I have is that the difference can be really extreme, as brutal as it is to fight this ship when you are in a cruiser yourself, a normal heavy cruiser, light cruiser, battle cruiser, as extreme it can be fighting a US standard battleship with this ship. Then you have no chance. And this is all possible within your battle rating spread of 0.7, you know, not 1.0, 0.7. So when you fight an Arizona, a Nevada, a Texas, an Alaska, a lot of the German battleships such as Kaiser, Bayern, Scharnhorst, the Soviet battleships, and then also the Kronstadt, etc., etc. You know, I could extend the list quite significantly, then it's bad. However, in the most games that I had, I didn't see a pure battleship versus battleship lineup. I think and this is just a wild guess from a handful of battles, it seems like the packages were too expensive even for this community that usually buys whatever Gaijin throws at them. So maybe Gaijin has gone a little bit too far with their greed, although so I thought in the past as well. Gaijin will make money. Gaijin will profit from this. It's just that the gameplay is, in some cases, outright boring. And so we come back to Gaijin being actually correct, that a battleship fight can be boring. It's a long time ago when they made this statement. But it's Gaijin developing the game mode, and they're responsible for all the factors, all the surrounding factors. And they're not just doing it very well. And it's their choice to bring in those battleships as premium battleships. So we have here the USS Arkansas that can be detonated. We have the SMS Nassau that can easily be outgunned. And we have the Marat, which per se is not overpowered, but absolutely no fun whatsoever to fight against. And they're not giving 4 out of the 7 Bluewater Fleet nations battleships at all. That's just unfair, unbalanced. It feels rushed. It feels the decisions were made by somebody that doesn't play naval forces at all. And also those battleships all seem, or the premium battleships at least, premium dreadnoughts, they do not really seem to be future proof. The USS Nassau for the the SMS Nassau for the German tech tree, and the USS Arkansas for the Americans in particular, are sister ships to very old tech tree ships, you know, that we have for a very long time. And they lack both the armor and the firepower versus top tier that you fight very often. And so why not give the Americans, I don't know, the sister ship to the USS Arizona, or at least the Nevada? And for the Germans, why not give them a second Kaiser class or a König class? Because it's a joke if you say that Gaijin is not selling top tier equivalent premiums. Technically, Gaijin is right, they're not selling top tier premiums. But the Marat is very similar to the Patritskaya Kommuna, and the Patritskaya Kommuna is a rank 6 battle rating 7.0 battleship. That is literally top tier. And I do not really see the difference, aside from the torpedo protection system, that warrants the Marat a lower battle rating. I don't see it. I don't know why. And why then give the Germans a ship with 11-inch guns compared to 12-inch guns? At least stay consistent with that. Hell, even a sister ship to the Helgoland or the SMS Helgoland would have been more fair, and also with better torpedoes that have a little bit more boom, right? So it's a mess, and it can be really tricky. And I'm really worried that we get here into a meta that just slowly but surely dies. The premium cruiser meta, at least you could kill each other sort of reliably. You could make plays. You had protection versus aircraft. This now is completely effectively defenseless. Did you hear that plane? That marks the end of the battle. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this whole topic. And that's it for me today, quite literally. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.